So based off of the daily chart pattern, along with the key levels that we're trading at, the SPY is setting up for a highly predictable, simple, lucrative trading opportunity heading into tomorrow. I'm going to show you exactly how to determine if it's going to be a bullish and bearish trend day, a bullish or bearish trend day, along with the key levels of interest to be trading at. I'm telling you, based off of the pattern that's setting up, this is going to be very simple, and this is going to be a very lucrative trading opportunity heading into tomorrow. If you utilize this game plan, this information that I'm providing to you, you should have a phenomenal green day heading into tomorrow. In terms of simplicity and highly predictability, it really doesn't get much more of a confirmation and predictable than this. So I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to trade the SPY. In terms of Team Roar, as a collective, as a whole, we ended up making multiple 100% profit returns today. In terms of G-Roar, he ended up going 2 for 4. The first trade on the day was a loss, but you guys are well aware in terms of the morning trades, start light, because in terms of the entire trading alert system, we have the middle of the day and we have power hour. So if we have one morning trade, we can always make up for it with a massive win later into the day, especially during power hour. So during the power hour trading session, we had a multiple 100% profit return on SPX puts, which made up for the loss. We also had a 100% profit return on SPY calls. In terms of my own personal trades, I ended up going 1 for 1, waiting until the power hour trading session. You guys were well aware that I was interested in buying put options if the SPY just opens up with a gap towards the previous closing price. I decided to wait to trade later into the day, and once the SPY broke above that gap level that I was interested in buying puts, I noticed that it was having a breakout, dropped back down to retest, and it was reacting as support with a trend reversal 30-minute candlestick pattern. So I bought calls, and I was down on the calls initially. I was adding and I was scaling into the calls as it was dropping a little bit and as it was going up a little bit, and I ended up making a 50% profit return on my trade for the day. In terms of Uncle Tio, he ended up making a 70% return on his trade today with SPX puts. I'm going to be breaking down everything for you collectively as a whole. We are up multiple 100% profit returns. Let's get straight into it. So in terms of the money-making game plan, this is going to be very simple. The daily chart pattern is the same exact pattern, just at a higher, more overbought towards all-time high level that ended up forming last week. So in terms of the overall pattern, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you this daily candlestick right here is nearly identical to this daily candlestick right here, right? But in terms of how it looks a lot more like the daily candlestick right here, which was at the all-time highs. And then the next day, if the previous closing price reacts as a resistance, or if the SPY gaps down, it's likely going to have a bearish trend day and start to bottom out towards the gap. So in terms of what I want you to understand heading into tomorrow, this is the game plan. It's going to be very simple. The SPY right now, we're at an overbought level. You know, there's a gap right here. The gap is at 606.80. We ended up closing at 606.44. In terms of the daily chart pattern, we're more overbought. In terms of this daily candlestick pattern, it looks a lot more similar, you know, in terms of this daily candlestick right here, it looks a lot more similar to this one versus this one. But what I want you to understand is this: if we're gapping down, if we are opening up bearish, if the previous closing price, 606.44, is reacting bearish, the game plan is going to be to buy put options. Now, if the SPY is gapping up, opening up higher than the previous closing price, we're going to show some interest, but be extremely careful with call options, right? So in terms of the overall trend is obviously maintaining bullish. It's just in terms of being bullish, you have to be extremely careful at these levels in terms of day trading. Based off the daily chart pattern, this is what it's saying. If we gap up, it's going to try to gap and go, but there's going to be a massive dip throughout the day. So if we do gap up, you got to be a little bit careful, because at some point in the day, it's going to have a big drop, but then it should try to close strong. Now, if we're gapping down, reacting bearish, going into previous closing price, the trend's going to be bearish. We're focused on puts. Very simple, based off the daily chart, based off the key levels. You need to understand though, this daily candlestick looks a lot more similar, right? If you were to compare this daily candle right here to this daily candle right here to this daily candle right here, it looks a lot more similar to this one, and it's basically at the same level. And there was a gap that was waiting to fill right here that is finally filled at 606.80, right? In terms of when shit hits the fan and we're going to see a massive fucking drop, it's going to be when we start to go under this zone, this 606.40 level. Once 606.40 starts to crack, once 605 really starts to get taken out, basically the high of these two daily candlesticks, you can even keep an eye on this level as well, 602.89, man. So looking at the daily chart, You need to keep your eyes on 606.40. You need to keep your eyes on 605.17, and you need to keep your eyes on 603, right? Those are going to be the three main levels. If we're reacting bearish and dropping below those levels, break down, spike back up, form a lower high, retest, it's going to be buy and put options for a bearish trend day where the SPY is going to start to sell off and it would start to fill the gaps. So in terms of the level where the bears are just in complete fucking control, to maintain bearish, we need to stay below the previous closing price, 606.44. For the bears to be in full fucking control, this would be the level where shit really starts to hit the fan. We need to start going under 605. If we start going under this like 605 level right here, it's going to sell off and then it goes to 603. It can bounce first at 603, but overall the trend's going to try to maintain bearish, right? So if we go under 603, next level we go to is 601.70. We go under that, next level we go to is 599.50. We go under that, next level is going to be 597.50. If the SPY is maintaining below 605, we can have a very bearish trend day heading into tomorrow. And in terms of where we can potentially drop, we can drop to as low as the mid 599.50 range. So heading into tomorrow, I am expecting with the current volatility and the current levels we're trading at, along with the daily chart pattern, I am expecting with these levels and everything that's occurring, a massive day. This is going to be a massive day to be making money heading into the market. And it's likely going to be just a bearish trend day or a bullish trend day. So it's likely just going to be a one-sided overall trend. But if it does end up gapping up and have that bullish trend day, likely going to be a massive drop. But if it's a bearish trend day, it's likely just going to be fucking brutal and just selling the fuck off. We are extremely overbought. And I'm telling you, if we are maintaining below previous closing price, and if we dip below 605, it's going to be puts. So in terms of puts, man, like I said, below 605 is hanging on by a thread. That's when shit hits the fucking fan. Break down below, spike back up, lower high, previous support reacts as a resistance, buy the fucking puts, 605. I'm keeping an eye on previous closing price. That's make or break. But if we gap down, or if we're just dropping under 605 and we're just maintaining below the previous closing price, 606.44, it's gonna be a bearish fucking trend day, man. So in terms of the bulls, for the bulls to be in fucking control heading into tomorrow is very simple. This is what would need to occur, man. There is a gap that has now filled, right? There's a gap that is now filled at 606.80. It has filled the gap. You can see if it reacts as a resistance, hard sell off, hard sell off. Look at this day right here. On this day, it topped at 607.86. It went all the way down to 604, right? So as long as we're maintaining bearish, we're going to, at least at the bare minimum, close the gap at 603. And then it's going to try to spike and reverse at 603. If not, then we go to 601.70, then we go to 599.50, then we go to 597.50. But in terms of the fucking bulls, to have a shot heading into tomorrow, the SPY needs to maintain above 606.44. And for the trend to shift back to short-term bullish here, we need to go above 606.80. We go above 606.80, turn that into support. Then we go to 608. We go above 608. The next level we go to is towards all-time highs. It's going to be the range of 608.40 to 609 to 610. That's the overall range heading into tomorrow, man. So I'm telling you, in terms of bearish in shorting the key breakdown, it's basically slightly above 605. Right around this like 605 range. If you're seeing 605.30, this level right here, breakdown, reacts bearish, we're in fucking puts. If we're maintaining under the previous closing price, we're in fucking puts. If we start to gap up or break out above 606.80, we're in fucking calls. So basically the main level for calls is 606.80 if we gap up or reacting bullish, SPY is maintained above previous closing price. And the next level above that is 607.60, man. So in terms of calls, it's going to be a bit more challenging. We'll keep an eye on 606.80 and we'll keep an eye on 607.30. Anything fucking below that, it's puts, man. I'm telling you. And you can keep an eye for a quick scalp, but you got to be careful. I mean, you can keep an eye on 603 for a scalp on calls. Keep an eye on 599.50 and 590.70.30 for the gap reversal on calls. And this strong support should likely bounce first, right? So into tomorrow in terms of oversold levels, if you're trading against the trend and you're buying calls, 603 would be the highest level. Next level would be 599.50. Next level would be 607.50. We have a gap to fill here. We have a gap to fill here. In terms of gap up bullish situation, we need a break above 606.80 to react bullish. Otherwise, we're selling the fuck off and we're all buying fucking puts for an overall bearish trend fucking day. use this game plan. It's going to be so fucking simple, man. You're simply going to be focused heading into tomorrow on just identifying if this 60670 is breaking out, reacting as support, gapping up, then it's a quick play on calls. If we're breaking down, dropping below, maintaining under previous closing price, then we're all buying fucking puts. 60530 is the key breakdown level. The key resistance level is going to be that towards that previous closing price, 60640. If we're pushing above 60680, bulls are taking control, then it's fucking calls. It's so fucking simple. If you use this fucking game plan, you should be printing money at the speed of fucking light tomorrow. You should be so fucking green heading into tomorrow. I'm telling you, man, it doesn't get more simple than this. In terms of the market, I truly do. In terms of like the curriculum and education and preparing to trade a night before in advance, I genuinely wish it was like this every single fucking day. If it was my fucking choice, I'd make it this fucking simple and this fucking easy every single fucking day. But you got to work with what the market gives you. And you got to be aware of what it is that you know and what it is that you have and what it is that works for you at all fucking times and be disciplined enough to stick to what works. It's quality over quantity. Sometimes the market's going to look like this in terms of highly predictable patterns every single fucking day. And then there's going to be fucking weeks, sometimes a fucking week, where the market's literally not telling you anything you want to see. It's not showing you anything you want to see. And then that's where traders go wrong. They try different paths. They get off track. They lose self-awareness. They, give back gains. They blow all their money, blow their fucking money on stupid fucking trades. It's like, dude, we have curriculum that works. We have money systems that work. We patiently wait for the patterns, for the systems, for everything to play out to a fucking T. And I'm telling you, based off of fucking tomorrow, this should be a home fucking run. The whole fucking, every single fucking person watching this video should be green heading into tomorrow, man. Now, in terms of some 10-day, 30-minute patterns that I wanted to bring awareness to. So what I want you to do is, I want you to just take a quick look at how this looks. Just take a quick look of just how this fucking pattern looks. I mean, you could say it kind of looks like an slanted M, whatever you want to say, right? Just take a look about how this pattern looks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to compare the look of this pattern on the 30-minute chart to some similar patterns on how this can potentially play out, right? So in terms of some similarities, I mean, in a sense, it could be something like this, where like I said, if we are just gapping up and it kind of looks like this. So if you see right here, this looks kind of similar. This looks kind of similar. So like I said, if we're just gapping the fuck up and you're seeing we're above 606.44 and we're forming support above 607, then we're buying fucking calls. It's going to be a slow bullish trend day like that and focus on the dips. If we're reacting bullish with a gap up, look for a massive fucking dip and buy the fucking dip at the break and retest levels. Look for resistance levels, break above resistance, drop back down, eat the fucking dip. The best play heading to tomorrow on calls, if we gapped up, would be a massive fucking dip. But it could be something like this. If we gap up, just slow and overall bullish, break and retest, buy some fucking dips, use the fucking level. Now, in terms of other possibilities that I want to bring awareness to, you could say it looks like this as well. So in terms of the overall patterns, like I said, man, this is another thing that I'm looking at. If we're just forming resistance at the previous closing price like this, we're just forming resistance, we're forming lower highs, it's just going to be fucking puts. And then it's going to have a nice fucking spike, and then it's going to sell right the fuck back off, right? So you can keep an eye on that as well. In terms of another situation, if we start to gap up a little bit and then you see a hard drop under previous closing price, it could potentially sell off. But based off of what I'm seeing, man, if we gap up, it's likely just going to be another gap and go. It's just you got to be careful and just focus on the oversold levels and kind of call it. Don't really push it, man. We're at extremely overbought levels. I mean, like from a macro point of view, things are still kind of looking bullish as of now. We're definitely due for some sort of fucking pullback, but it's only going to happen if previous closing price reacts as a resistance or if we're gapping down. So keep that in mind. And then, like I said, man, you can keep an eye, if you want to buy calls at oversold levels, keep an eye on bullish confirmations towards 591.70, towards 597.70, 599.50. I'm telling you, in terms of calls, man, these fucking levels should be fucking amazing. 597.70, 599.50, 603 would be the worst level, which could be the best level. Use fucking confirmations. Like I said, if you've seen the confirmation. So that's the game plan. Use this game plan. You should be making money. You should be printing at the speed of fucking light. Be self-sufficient. Now, let's get into the fucking trades, man. So in terms of all the fucking winning, let's get into the fucking wins. I'm going to break this down here for you. So first things first, I'm going to go over the trade that I ended up making today. So like I said, man, the market's been overall slow and it hasn't been offering a lot of opportunities in terms of my style and way of trading with the curriculum. So I haven't been doing a lot. But in terms of today, I went 1 for 1. And in terms of that overall trade, it was a very nice win, man. It really, in terms of what made it really nice as well, was all the fucking adding. I just kept on fucking adding to this fucking trade. It's like, dude, if I'm not going to trade that much, I'm going to be sizing in a little bit bigger. And every time I get a confirmation to add, I'm fucking adding, whether I'm down a little bit or whether I'm up a little bit. So like I said, we don't add to losers, but if I'm down only like 10 or 15% and there's a confirmation to add to a loser, I'll do it. But if I'm down like 20% plus, I'm not adding to a loser. Because if we're down 20, 30, 40, 50% plus, we just wait to buy a second strike. But if I'm seeing a winning confirmation to add to a loser and I'm only down like 15%, I'll add to the fucking trade because I'm not down that much, right? And if I'm up a little bit, I'll add to the fucking trade as well. So in terms of the trade, man, let's get into this. I'm going to walk you through this. So let me break this down here for you. So this was the one trade that I ended up making today. Like I said, I literally waited. This was solely based off of the game plan I gave you yesterday. So what was the game plan? The game plan was, if we open up with a big gap up, I'm going to be interested in potentially trying puts at the gap. The gap was right here, and in terms of where the gap was at, the gap was at 606.80. We did end up opening up with a very big gap up, so obviously puts at that level was desirable. Was there a confirmation? You know, in terms of confirmation, you could say this could be considered a bearish confirmation for a pullback right here, but in terms of what I did, I ended up waiting. And I also said if we gap up, it's going to be a strong bullish trend day, and I'm going to be using break and retest levels. Now, in terms of the level where I made this trade, I don't like the fucking level, but I do like the confirmation. So I ended up buying calls at a level where I was interested in buying fucking puts on. But I told you in terms of buying puts, it was mainly interested towards earlier into the day with a massive gap up, but I didn't even fucking buy the puts at the fucking level. I just waited. Trading is so much easier when you just wait for certain things to play out, certain confirmations and certain levels. So this was the bearish zone right here. This was the bearish zone. But if SPY breaks above that, drops back down, and reacts to support, or forms a trend reversal 30-minute candlestick, I'm buying fucking calls. Sometimes I won't buy calls for confirmations there, maybe because I just don't like the way SPY is trading with the overall price action, or maybe I just don't like the level. In terms of this trade, the main thing I disliked about this was the level, but what made up for it was the confirmation. So let's get into the confirmation. SPY had a breakout above the gap. Where is the gap? The gap is right here at 606.80. If we go above 606.80, what is the next level on the daily chart? The next level on the daily chart is 607.78 to 608.40. That's how you can kind of identify the potential upside, right? So the point is, the SPY had a breakout. And I fucking told you in the video, if we're gapping up, reacting bullish, it's going to try to close strong. It's going to try to be a gap and go. So in terms of the trend, break and fucking retest. Puts was against the trend. You can still make money trading against the trend. It's just you have to time it fucking perfectly, and the gains could be less, and it's extremely hard to do that. You know, if you trade with the fucking trend, you don't have to time the trade fucking perfectly, and you could just hold the fucking trade, right? So that's one of the differences in between trading the trend, right? I mean, if you're buying far out of the money fucking option contracts, it's going to be extremely difficult in a way to make money if you're trading against the trend. You have to time the trade literally fucking perfect. That dead play won't come back to life because the trend's fucking against you, right? So I focused on trading the trend. I missed the fuck out on the first overall moves. I mean, in terms of what I fucking teach, green, red, green. There was a green, red, green. That's my style of trading. And it was above the gap, which is bullish. So if you use what I taught you, you could have bought calls right here at 607.20 at 11:30 a.m. Like I said, this is what I did, right? You don't have to do exactly in terms of the trades I'm making. You can literally just use my curriculum at the levels and make what you want to make out of it. Like in terms of what I teach and trade, you could have bought calls right here on the opening of this 30-minute candle saying green, red, green above the gap. There's a floor above the gap. That's fucking bullish. Bullish trend day, like I said. But anyways, this is what caught my attention. There was fucking 5 red 30-minute candles. There was 5 red 30-minute candles slanted, and there was basically a fucking floor for 90 fucking minutes above the gap. So not only was there a breakout above the gap, which could be considered bullish, but there was a retest for 90 fucking minutes above the breakout level, the previous resistance, meaning the trend is maintaining bullish. This previous resistance is reacting as support. Therefore, the SPY is going to try to retest the high of this wick. It's going to try to retest the high of these fucking wicks. You understand? Breakout, drop back down, lots of consolidation for 90 fucking minutes. Previous resistance react as support. In terms of the foundation, I told you the foundation in last night's video was a bullish fucking trend day if we gap up, right? So in terms of the trade, you could see 2:06 p.m. I got in on 6:07 calls at 53 cents. And then at 2:13 p.m. I added at 50 cents. And then at 2:34 p.m. I added at 44 cents. So I kept on fucking adding. So in terms of the entry, I got in right here when this 30-minute candlestick. So as soon as this 30-minute candlestick opened up right here, I got in. Why? There's an hour of fucking consolidation. There's 4 fucking candles. Previous resistance going to react to support. And what caught my attention was the wick. It's going to try to spike back towards the wick. If previous resistance is reacting as support, and you're seeing this 30-minute wick like this, the SPY is going to try to retest the high of this fucking wick, and then that's going to be the profit target towards the high of that fucking wick, right? And I talk about this all the time when you're seeing like 3 slanted red candles to the right side like this, a lot of consolidation, previous resistance as support. I mean, just look at this, man. You have this red fucking wick. It's above the fucking gap. You have this red fucking wick. It's above the fucking gap. Next 30 minutes, it explodes the fuck up and it retests the high of the wick. You understand? So, I mean, part of the curriculum was literally just looking at the previous 30-minute candle that formed right here. And then you can go back throughout the 10-day, 30-minute, and you'll see the same shit happening over and over again. This was similar as well, where we had this slanted downtrend, and then the SPY started to bottom out and have these big fucking spikes. There it is again, that red fucking wick, and then it spikes the fuck back up. But you got to use those candles the right way. Sometimes those candles could be considered bearish. Sometimes they could be considered bullish. In terms of the way I'm using the candles, the break and retest, resistance, breakout, drop, consolidation, retest the fucking wick. You understand? So that's why I bought the fucking calls, man. It was so fucking simple. Like, dude, everyone should have been on that fucking play. And that's why I kept on adding. I kept on fucking adding because I knew it was going to spike back and retest the fucking wick. So I added at 45 cents. And then I ended up selling at 63 cents. Right here, got out at 63 cents. We absolutely fucking crushed it on that play. And that was the one trade that I ended up making on the day. Big shout out to Alex. He took that trade that I made on calls. He ended up making $1,300 on that fucking trade. It's fucking crazy, man. He made nearly the cost of a single year to stay inside of here on a monthly subscription on one single fucking trade. It's like, this is the best fucking investment you can ever make in terms of joining Team Roar, man. Like I said, he took my overall trade in that situation. So big shout out to him, man. I literally waited all fucking day to make that trade. I had a level, and in a sense, I was kind of like short biased at the level, but I just waited, just literally waiting for confirmations. Green, red, green, that's fucking bullish. Breakout, that's fucking bullish. Consolidation for 90 minutes, that's fucking bullish. This red wick to spike back up, that's fucking bullish. It's like, I'm telling you, if you just wait for the perfect 30-minute patterns to develop at the strategies, the strategy was a bullish gap and go trend day and the break and retest and all these fucking 30-minute candlestick fucking confirmations. It's like, dude, losing and going red is a personal fucking choice, man. Nobody's teaching you this curriculum because this is something that I've created. And like I said, man, in terms of the curriculum that I have in the systems that works, sometimes the market's going to give it to us multiple times a day. Sometimes it's only going to be once a day. Sometimes it might fucking disappear. I'm telling you, I've had my curriculum disappear before. It was just fucking gone. I was like, dude, it's been fucking 2 weeks. Where's the fucking plays? What happened? And if you don't sit on your fucking hands, you're going to get fucking destroyed. That's what I'm saying, man. You have to be self-aware of what it is that you have that works at all fucking times and trade that. Once you start forcing trades, you're going to lose all your fucking money. Never force fucking trades. Know and understand what works best for you and just do that. I'm telling you, man. Sometimes the market is going to hit you with so many fucking plays and it's going to be amazing. And then other times there's going to be no fucking plays. It's going to be completely fucking dry. It's going to leave you fucking high and dry. And then most people blow all their fucking profits when they're high and dry like that. And then sometimes it's going to be a bit more of a balance. In terms of, the past week, in terms of the way it is that I trade, it's been a little bit more slow and I'm adapting to that. You have to constantly be aware and adapt to things accordingly. You don't have to jump into it right away. If the market's on fucking fire and you've been trading, slow and not making a lot of trades recently, you don't have to go and just jump in and make 10 fucking trades that day. Just adapt accordingly, right? It's got to flow like water. So with that being said, that was my trade. In terms of the other trades that were made, I'm going to walk you through this, man. So in terms of the trades that G-Roar ended up giving out, you can see we have a real-time zero-day options trading alert system inside of Team Roar. So this was the morning game plan. I'm telling you, this fucking morning game plan literally hits like 95% plus of the fucking times. It's fucking amazing, man. So the morning game plan was very fucking simple to just go long above 605.76, which was fucking perfect. With that being said, man, I'm not going to be going all over this. It's a real-time system. But you can see BABA puts. So the first morning trade was an L. You need to understand, man. The morning and power hour trades can be some of the most massive wins. Now, you start light, especially in the morning, because if you lose in the morning, you need to put yourself in a position where you can still risk more money on the day and you could still trade so you can go from red to green. Understand? So, you can size in big enough where you can walk away, but don't go too fucking big where you can't make another fucking trade, right? So start light. It's very important to start light. The wins could be fucking massive in the morning. Biggest fucking wins could be towards power hour, and they happen a lot more fucking quicker in that particular sense. So, Baba puts didn't work out, which is completely fine. In terms of the next trade, 6:07 calls, you could have made it all back and more. 11:17 a.m. So if we go to 11:17 a.m. on 6:07 fucking calls, you're gonna see right fucking here that this is where we got in. We got in towards the lows. Right here at 11:17 a.m., we literally got in towards the lows, and it went all the way up to 120, right? And in terms of the pullback happened right around here when we got above 100. So if you set a fucking profit stop, there was no pullbacks until 100. So you should have been in towards fucking 60, and you should have been profit stopped out above 100. Nearly 100% profit return, which makes up for the previous sell. Plus, in terms of risk management 101, this trade cost 50% more than the other trade. So it's kind of good in a sense when you have a small loss on a smaller priced contract, and then the next contract cost a bit more. This contract costs 50% more than the previous trade, and it's a winner. That's fucking good in terms of risk management 101. So that was a phenomenal fucking trade. As you can see right here, calls up 32 cents, move your profit stops up higher. Everyone should have been profit stopped out above 100 cents on that. GWAR ended up getting out 107 cents. And as you can see, breaking down the full fucking play, right? So in terms of the next trade, you're going to see right here, 608 SPY calls, extremely cheap, extremely low risk, only 25 cents, literally 1/3 the price of the trade before that. This one didn't work out. But as you can see, in terms of going 2 for 4, net percentage positive. Look at this, 3:37 p.m. We're going to go to 3:37 p.m. and I'm going to show you 6090 puts. So in terms of 6090 puts, 3:37 p.m., look at this. Literally 2 minutes after the low. The low is right here at 65. We're in on fucking puts right here. We're in on these fucking puts, as you can see, at 155 cents. As soon as we get in, 160, 180, these are the option prices moving in real fucking time. As you can see, we are in right here, and they quickly went up to 600. 150 to 600. You're risking 150 a contract to make 600. Where else are you going to be able to risk 150 to make 600 in less than 15 fucking minutes, man? So that was a phenomenal fucking trade. Everyone should have been stopped out above 450. That was fucking amazing, man. Now, in terms of the final trade on the day, and man, just look at this, man. You really have to appreciate in terms of like the beauty of this fucking screenshot, man. This is like one of the cleanest fucking charts that I've ever fucking seen. This is where we got in on the fucking puts. And then look at SP fucking X. It gapped the fuck down. Look at this. Massive gap down. Sold in the money for 580 fucking cents, man. That was a perfect play. Literally sold right there at 3:51 p.m. 3:51 p.m. You see this? 3:51 p.m. right here. The high of this fucking candle. 3:51 p.m. This is where we ended up getting out. Alerted in real fucking time at 3:51 p.m. So net positive. That is a 50% win rate, but the wins outweighed the losses. They were so fucking massive, man. So that's a net positive green day, right? So in terms of the final trade, Tio, he called out one trade today. I'm going to show you in terms of the trade that he ended up calling out. Let me walk you through this. So in terms of the trade that Tio ended up making, he called out the play first, man. This is fucking crazy. So you can see right here, at 3:15 p.m., SPX 6090 puts at 3:15 p.m. So we played that same strike twice. Tio got in first, and he got profit stopped out for a 70% profit return, as you can see right here. And he left one lucky contract to run for a 400% gain. But he got profit stopped out for a 70% profit return on that, and he got in at 3:15 p.m. So Tio called out the play first. He got profit stopped out for 70%. He left a runner. The runner went up 450%. And then once it dropped back down towards the lows under Tio's entry, Tio got in right here at a fucking 100. And then it quickly went to fucking 180, profit stopped out for 70%, left a lucky fucking runner. It goes to 600. Literally risking $100 a contract to make $600. Like the fucking risk to reward is the best fucking risk to reward you're ever going to fucking see, man. This is the beauty of trading farther money options. And then later, GWAR got in on the same fucking strike, timed it fucking perfectly, and it was fucking perfect, man. So that's where TO got in. And then it had to move literally from 100 to 170, left a runner, went to 600. And then this is where G-Row called out his play. And it went from 150 all the way to 600. Both of the trades were timed fucking perfectly. And then, like I said, man, in terms of my overall trade, it was just very simple, man. I broke it down to you. Let me show you the chart here real quick in terms of what the contracts ended up doing as well. So 607 calls at 53 cents, 2:06 p.m. So 607 calls. And then you go to, if I show you all the ads and everything here. So 2:06 p.m., 2:06 p.m. So this is where I ended up getting in. So 2:06 p.m., I ended up getting in right here in the 50-cent range. And then as it was dropping, I ended up adding into the drop, adding into the drop. And then this is where I ended up exiting right here towards the peak into the mid 60-cent range, right? So it was a phenomenal win where I just kept on adding into the dips rather into the fucking wins. And then we had this nice spike right here and I sold into the move. And then shortly after that, TO ended up getting in on SPX puts. And shortly after that, GROR ended up getting on SPX fucking puts. So listen, man, it's unlimited fucking winning. If you're serious about making money, if you're serious about trading alongside the best and gaining access to not only a community where you can surround yourself with multimillionaire traders with 10 years of experience trading farther money option contracts, but also gaining access to a real-time zero-date options trading alert system, it's going to be the first link down below within the description. Our style of trading is to buy cheap, low-risk, far money option contracts. We're known for selling them deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains. Very, very cheap, very, very low risk. We don't use stop losses. We put in terms of everything we're putting into our trades, is our max risk per trade. So the beauty of options is you know exactly how much you're going to lose. If the contracts go to zero and they expire worthless, then that's what we lose. What we put in is our max risk per trade, a couple percent of our fucking account, right? So the difference is our max risk per trade hits if the contracts go to zero and expire worthless. Other people's max risk trade stopped out. They size in fucking big. They get stopped out. So we let the holding of the trade and the percentage gains make all the massive gains for us by sizing in lighter, holding the trade, making massive percentage gains, holding, selling deep in the money, leaving runners. Another way we increase our winnings is by adding to our wins. And if we're increasing our position size, how do we protect that? What we found that works best in that situation is to add to winners. Because when there's a confirmation to be adding, all you need is one move in your favor to protect that new average cost. And I'm telling you, 9 out of the 10 times we get that move in our fucking favor and it tends to just keep on fucking running. So it's like one way we figured out to protect our risk, to protect our new position size, to increase the overall risk while, increasing overall profits is by just quickly adding to a winner when there's a confirmation to add to the winner. And then we set a profit stop. If we quickly add to a win and then we have a small move within our favor, our new average cost is now in the green. And we set that fucking profit stop to ensure that we don't go green to red and we get stopped out for fucking profit. If we're green on a trade, it is impossible to go back to red if we set a profit stop. So we normally set the profit stop when we're up about 15%. And we move the profit stop up higher to ensure that we don't get back the bulk of our overall gains, man. Just to show you in terms of like what that looks like. You can see it's very, very fucking clear on this SPY call trade. I mean, this is a phenomenal example. This is a phenomenal, representation of what is that we're doing. 607 SPY calls for 64 cents at 11:17 a.m. Right? Calls up 10 cents. These are the quote prices moving in real time. You don't even have to check the fucking option chain. Everything's loaded 100% in real time. Calls up 28 cents. So set the fucking profit stops. You set the fucking profit stops, right? And then from there, as the calls are going up, move your profit stop up closer. So you keep on moving the profit stop up. Within time, bring your profit stop up closer. And then eventually we're either getting profit stopped out or we're just selling, right? So that's how it's done, man. So if you're serious about trading alongside with us in multimillionaires who have a decade of experience, this is going to be the biggest percentage gains you're ever going to fucking see, man. And it's going to be the highest win rate you're ever going to fucking see. We are the absolute best in this niche of far the money option contracts, man. It's the first link down below. Within the description, we have many, many members. Some members are making $500 to $1,000 a day. Some members are making 5 figures a week. Some members are making 6 figures plus a month, man. I'm telling you, we're absolutely fucking crushing it. We have a new member already up 40%. Alex was up $1,300 today. Big shout out to him. So listen, man, if you're serious about making money, it's the first link down below in the description. Every single fucking day, we print money at the speed of fucking light. We trade cheap, low risk, bar the money option contracts, sell them to deepen the money for the biggest percentage gains. We don't add to losers. When we're down big on a play, we buy a second strike instead of adding to a loser. The second strike tends to print like fucking crazy. The first one that's down 50% plus comes back to life. We don't use stop losses. We put in our entire max risk per trade. If the trade goes to zero and expires worthless, then we lose our max risk per trade. Instead of getting stopped out, we have the entire trade to go in the money, or we have the entire trade to go green and we set the profit stop and get profit stopped out for green. We add to fucking wins to increase the fucking wins. One winning move within our favor is going to increase the gains like fucking crazy. Set the profit stop to protect the new average cost. We are creating money-making systems that consistently make not only us money, but everybody in the fucking group money, right? In terms of my main focus, right? My main focus is to create educational systems. That's my main focus. I'm the one in terms of, who started this whole fucking company and who created the education and curriculum and who started the videos and everything. So it's like my main focus is really to create educational systems. And what I've found with educational systems is you have to trade less. If you're gonna trade solely based off of like education and less of like with your heart or less of like with your intuition, I use everything within my favor. I use my heart, I use my intuition, all of that works. Some traders literally just trade with their heart and intuition and it works. But I'm just telling you, in terms of my main focus as of now, is to create the best educational system. And if I'm going to create the best educational system, like I said, my number one focus is going to be quality over quantity, which means in terms of my purpose, it's going to be to trade less. I'm going to trade less and less and less. I want my plays to win all the fucking time. And I want them to be so simplified where people understand exactly what it is that I'm doing. Like they should know exactly why I'm in the fucking trade, because the level or the daily chart foundation could be the base, the foundation to get in, and then the confirmation could be the 30-minute chart. So I have these blocks, I have this deck, I have the pieces. It's just I have to wait as a professional for everything to align together. And once I see that everything's aligned together, I take the fucking trade. And like I said, sometimes the market's going to give me weeks where there's multiple plays a day. Other times the market's going to give me, where there's only like one trade a day. Sometimes there isn't going to be any fucking plays. Like I said, everyone has their different systems and different strategies. But what I really came to realize is, in terms of my main focus, it's to create the best educational system. That's my number one fucking focus. And with that being said, I'm going to try my best to maximize it, but I don't want to fully milk it. But I'm keeping it high quality focus. It's going to be quality over fucking quantity. And I genuinely want everyone to understand exactly in terms of what it is that I'm doing and how I'm making all of these fucking trades, right? Some of my trades, they'll be solely fucking intuition, purely trading off my fucking heart. But I want to keep the focus on education, right? So I just want to make that very, very clear in terms of like some differences. You guys should have a much better understanding in terms of my reasoning behind the trades if you follow along and you see the timestamps within the overall trades and stuff like that. But like I said, it was just very simple, man. We had a green, red, green, which is bullish at a bearish level and a bearish strategy, right? So there was a gap to fill, 606.80, and it could potentially have a reversal. If it doesn't reverse the level, then it's going to close the gap and keep on going. The inverse of a gap, close reversal. So I'm seeing a floor, green, red, green. You could have bought calls right fucking here. It's just that's not the most desirable thing to do. Another thing about my style of trading is my worst trades tend to be breakouts. And this was an extremely overbought level. So what's the fucking rush, man? We're early into the middle of the day. We're still kind of early, and buy fucking calls right here. It would have worked. The curriculum, the level, everything worked. Like you should have said, like, dude, there's a floor at the fucking gap. Green, red, green. That's bullish as fuck. Buy calls here. It would have worked out for you. It's just like I came to the realization it's just better to wait. And in terms of like curriculum, if you just wait for the SPY to drop back down to the oversold level to retest when the calls are cheaper. Cheaper means low risk, and it's towards power hour, which is going to mean volatile moves, bigger percentage gains. It just makes a lot more sense to buy calls down here at a much better time with much more confirmation than up here for smaller fucking gains when it's already fucking rocketing earlier into the day. The timing matters too with the options. Biggest moves, I'm telling you, towards that power hour, it's like, dude, if you literally just wait towards like 2 fucking p.m., after 2 p.m., for the perfect fucking pattern, at the perfect level, with the perfect confirmations, and when everything's a lot more cheaper, getting decayed, getting ready to expire fucking worthless, you buy these contracts that are out of the money, getting ready to expire worthless, and you sell them in the fucking money, you make the biggest percentage gains in the quick periods of time. And if you wait for the chart to develop, it's a lot more predictable. So you're going to see, man, my main focus and when I trade best is after 2 p.m. and then mainly during that power hour trading session, 3 p.m. It's gonna be a lot more hectic after like 3:30 fucking p.m. I trade best during power hour. My main focus is gonna be on education and curriculum, but you're gonna see a lot of my trades typically after like 11:30 a.m. So like some days I'll have trades in the middle of the day towards 11:30, but my main prime time is gonna be like after 2 p.m., 3 p.m., stuff like that. And that's just because I trade best around that time, but it's also because in terms of the system I'm focused on, I prefer to miss out first and wait for the chart to develop rather than just get in right away. That's just my personal preference in terms of what it is that I'm doing, right? And I'm focused on very high quality. And in terms of just like if you just think of education and curriculum, if one of the strategies is a break and retest, that means you have to wait for a floor to form at a breakout level, right? So that means, okay, 60680, you have to wait for a floor to form, then you have to wait for a breakout, then you have to wait for a retest, then you have to wait for a confirmation of the retest. So if you think about what it is I'm doing, it's like, yeah, my trade probably is going to be way later into the day if that's one of the strategies with my curriculum. So I want you to understand that. If you're serious about making money, it's the first link down below in the description. I'm telling you, you're going to gain a lot of experience trading alongside with us. Best way to learn how to trade is to trade. You trade alongside with us, you're going to gain a lot of fucking experience. You're going to learn a lot regardless, man. We have a lot of members in here. We're making a lot of fucking money. It's the first link down below within the description. You're going to see, man, multimillionaires print at the speed of fucking light. It's nice to see Ninja back and active within the overall chat as well. I'm going to be very curious to see that play that he was mentioning, man. He's waiting to call out this leap play. And I'm telling you, in terms of Ninja, what he specializes in on the swing trades and the leap plays, he fucking kills it, man. This guy called out Tesla fucking leaps towards the lows. He called out Doge towards the fucking lows. He made fucking in 2022 fucking 7 million, 6 to 7 million on fucking Nvidia earnings fucking calls. This fucking guy is insane with the fucking leap plays. That's what he specializes in. And then everybody else really just focuses on the day trades in a sense. So if you're serious about trading alongside with us, is the first link down below within the description. And I'm telling you, tomorrow, you're going to want to be here, man. We're going to fucking crush it tomorrow with this game plan. I'll see you guys tomorrow within the chat.